let's get started. All right, new exercise for our lessons. We're going to shake it out. Shake your hands out. Get them all warmed up. Get your hands all warmed up. It's a good exercise to do. It's also cold outside today, so my hands are feeling a little stiff. Oh, the ice cream man's outside. Or it might be the mango guy. Anyways, warm up your hands. Get ready. Hopefully you haven't had too much sugar or too much caffeine before this, because you want your hands to be steady. I tried some of that whipped coffee this morning, and it's got instant coffee in it, and it is strong. All right, now we're warmed up. So this is our project for today. We're going to do a unicorn poster that is laid out in a asymmetrical composition. We also use some typography. This is the last version of this that I've finished. There are a couple of other versions, but I am happy with this one. So let's introduce you to today's materials. So first of all, we have paper. Okay, paper's kind of important. We have white paper, 8.5 by 11 in landscape, so that means horizontally or the long way. I have a lot of paper. Oh, there's a sketch. You guys can see these are all the practice pieces. This one looks more like a dragon. But make sure you have lots of paper, just in case you want to try it again and quit what we're doing and start over. We have lots of paper. I also have a sheet of paper that I'm going to keep underneath my poster to catch any of the ink that might bleed through. So speaking of ink that might bleed through, besides paper, what you're also going to need is a pencil, hopefully a soft lead pencil, because we're going to be doing sketching with our pencils. You're also going to need a fine tip pen or marker for doing our details, and a large or bold felt tip marker to do our outlines. You're going to need a compass today for today's lesson in order to do the circle where the stars and the type are. If you don't have a compass, you can use your scissors and make a stencil. So here's an example of a stencil I created. Let me put that back together. Okay. So what I did is I took an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And this is similar to the lesson where we made a square. So you're going to take the paper, you're going to fold one corner all the way across the top edge. Now it might be hard for you to see that. Let's do it on top of our top layer. You could fold this page all the way across so it's perfectly diagonal, and then cut this part off so this part's no longer there. And I got that out of the way. Hey Mom, how are you? Open your square back up. Fold it in half this way. Fold it in half again. Take your pencil. Make an arch from one corner to the other, but you so start and end at the corners. If you have to sketch it out, sketch it out. And then inside about 1/2 inch, you're going to make that curve Again, you know, same distance all the way away. And then a little more than an inch, maybe 1.5 inches, you're going to make another curve. Like that. And you're going to take your scissors. You're not going to cut this first line here, you're going to cut this second one. And get rid of that. And then cut the third one. Get rid of that. And then you have your circle stencil. So you could lay this out where you want it, in the center, and then trace the outside, and then trace the outside. Okay, but it's going to be a lot easier if you have a compass. So I'm going to get my stencil out of the way and get my original out of the way. And grab a new piece of paper, because remember, I'm going to use this paper to eat up any of the ink that bleeds through. So here's my new sheet of paper. Okay, because I want to put my circle in the middle of the right side of the page, I'm going to do my frame first, because we're going to have a frame on this piece. Oh, also let me introduce you to the color pencils. I forgot about that, because there's a lot of color pencils today, because we're doing unicorn colors, and my unicorn is very colorful. Unicorn colors, you want to go with some jewel tones, so tones that look like turquoise and emerald and sapphire, and you also want to use pastels like pink and light purples and also dark purples, and then gold, so we're going to use those colors. So what I have is I have pink, I have magenta, I have violet, I have blue, I have indigo blue, which is a really, really dark purple blue, I have turquoise or aquamarine, I have yellow sunburst here, which is really just like a golden yellow. I also have yellow orange, and I have orange, and I have black, because some of my areas I may want to use the black to add more shadows. So because I have so many pencils, I'm going to put them in my pencil holder. I don't need my scissors anymore, so I'm going to get those out of the way. I don't need my compass yet, so I'm just going to hang it right here. And I don't need my Sharpie or my pen. You could use a ruler for some of the straight lines if you like to, but as a design choice, I like to do more of a hand-drawn line. So you're going to start about here. You guys can't see my page at all. Let me get something else to put on the background. There we go. That might be better. Easier for you to see. Okay, so I'm going to start right here in the corner, about an inch, a little less than an inch, and I'm going to make some straight lines. Remember to use your whole arm when making straight lines instead of your hand. It will be a lot easier and a lot smoother. Now you should be using your sketching hand, so I shouldn't be able to see your writing in the camera if you're in a camera. I'm only doing it dark so that you can see. Remember, we're going to be erasing these lines after we're done, so you don't want them to be too dark. Do the same thing on each side. Try to make them the same distance all the way across. If they're not perfect, that's okay. You could fix it later if you want to. Hopefully you guys can see my lines, barely. Well, they're supposed to be light, so it's okay if you can barely see them. My hand's shaking from all the caffeine of that whipped coffee. Don't think I'll be doing that every day. Okay, and we're also going to round these corners. Like if you aren't good at making a rounded corner, you could use a quarter. See, like that. And do it again. And that corner. This corner. And this corner. All right, so if you want to use a ruler to measure it out, we need to split the page about halfway down for our reference lines. If you want to find the exact center, it's totally okay. Fold your paper in half so we can find the center. And then we want to fold it in thirds. So if you could fold it in 3 ways, but you don't need to fold the third one. So go ahead and fold. And that's where we want, that's not where I want the center of my circle. You want to go over just a little bit. So how far is that? Maybe fold it 2 inches from the edge. So see how there's about 2 inches there. There's a good center. Right there. That's my center. Go ahead and make a line on the center. I folded the page again about 2 inches from the edge. And there we go. So then we're going to take our compass. Go ahead and open that up. Get a pencil in there. I want the pencil to kind of be the same distance from the same length as the edge of it. A little bit further. There we go. And put your pencil side on the outside. Your pointed side is going to go on your center. That should work. Sorry, for the demo I did this with the stencil. So go all the way up to your frame line. See, I'm all the way up to my frame line. And lightly go ahead and go around. I prefer to turn the page. Oh, it should be the same distance down there. It should touch the top and the bottom. Okay, so we have our circle, goes around. And then we want to stay in the center here. Bring the compass in about 1.5 inches and do another circle. Okie dokie. So you see how I have this space on the side? I wanted this circle to connect there because I didn't do my measuring right. What I'm just going to do is go ahead and do this one more time because I can erase these lines. So if you're following around along with me, this is how mistakes happen. My circles aren't where I want them to be. And I think it's because my center is not in the center. This is why we draw lightly. Okay. So, So that's the more complicated part. It's gonna go right here. So what this is it's actually a square, perfect square right here. So what you could do is take a ruler and measure how far it is from here to here. Sometimes it's easier to use centimeters when you're dealing with tight ones. So 9 3, 9 3, 9 3, and 9 3. Now take your compass. Go from the center point to the outside of the frame. Up. And then make your circle. Perfect. Now it might not touch on all sides of the frame because we did our frame hand drawn, and so our lines aren't perfectly straight. But that's okay. So then take it in about a couple of inches or 1.5 inches, however big you want your letters. Okie dokie. There we go. That looks better. I'm going to erase some of these lines I don't need just ahead of time. Still might want to keep this line here. So that's from our center point to the top because we're going to lay out our type that way. Okie dokie. All right, so we have our circle, and let's say, so remember if you made a stencil, you just find that center again. So remember that's our center, not here. By squaring this right here, so measure how long this is, go that far across, should be the same length this way and that way. Or if you use the stencil, find the center, line it up, and then trace it. Okay, so let's start on our unicorn. So the layout of our unicorn is we have our circle with text, and then we have our unicorn here. So our unicorn's head goes, it's a little above the horizontal center, so it's this space up here. So we're going to do a circle for this part of the head, and we're going to do a circle for the nose. And I know in this one I want my nose to go a little over halfway through the circle. So let's start with the top of our unicorn's head. I want it to be about this high. So this is going to be your bigger circle. You're just sketching it out. That's just so you know where the head goes. And then about here, remember if this is the center of my circle, I want it to go about out that far. And that's the bottom of the mouth. So we got the two circles there. Eventually it's going to look like a horse, I promise. We're going to do the horse's back, which the horse's neck is behind the frame. So this is our frame. The horse's neck is going to end at the frame because it goes behind. So we're going to go from the circle here. We're going to make a curved line. It's going to go down like that. You see that? How it goes like that. And then we're going to go from the bottom of the unicorn's neck. And I want the bottom of the unicorn's neck to overlap the circle. So I'm gonna come down here and make this double curved line. So it goes back and then it goes forward. All right. So next we're gonna lay out our unicorn's head and nose. We're doing a 3/4 view. So for a 3/4 face, let's say you're laying it out, you're gonna do the face, you're gonna make a line that's gonna show you where the center of the face is. So if it's 3/4, instead of being halfway down like a straight on portrait, it's 3/4. So it's gonna curve like that. So that's 3/4. And then we're gonna show where the eyes are gonna go. So we could just take a line and go like that, because then we're gonna put an eye here and an eye here, kind of, sorta. And then we could do the same thing on the nose. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna make a 3/4 right there on the face. We're gonna also do 3/4 on the nose. We're gonna make lines for the eyes, which are, my eyes are gonna go down here. You see it's about halfway down the circle, right? My eyes are gonna go here. And my nose line that's gonna go across is gonna be the same angle as my eyes, because our nose lines up with our eyes. So go ahead and put a line. I wanna raise that line up because our nose is higher up. I'm gonna go right here. And then so the bottom of the mouth is gonna go right here. So let me see if you can see my lines. So I did 3/4 view, eye line, 3/4 view, nose line, mouth line. All right. So next we're going to connect our nose to our head. So we're gonna go from the top of the eyebrow, which our eyebrows are gonna be pretty high. You're gonna make a curve that's gonna meet up with the 3/4. Or you can even go a little bit further, because horses are pretty wide. So here's our 3/4, go about halfway. You see that line right there? And then you curve down and then go up to the circle of the nose. We're gonna curve down. Where we did our nose line, we're gonna do a little bump for the nose, cartoon choice, a little design choice. We're gonna come down to the mouth and we're gonna curve out, and then we're gonna curve back the other way, like that. And then our horse is just going to have a smile. We're gonna do a smile. A smile is gonna come way back here, because we have this line here for our other nose. Go ahead and put that other nose right there. And there we go. And we have our smile. We're gonna do the bottom of the chin. So let's start with his lip, or her lip. I think unicorns are male because they have horns, but I'm not sure. You could be a unicorn no matter who you are. And then come under here. Go around your circle. Go around your circle. Go around your circle, and then make another curved line. Right there. And then you're going to do the jaw, which horses have big jaws, big cheeks. And there, you should have the outline of your unicorn. My unicorn's nose looks a little bit long. If it looks long to you, go ahead and move your circle closer. So let's do the unicorn's other eye. So our unicorn's gonna have big eyes, so his eyes are gonna go above and below our eye line. And so there would be another eye over here. Because this eye is further away, it's gonna be a little bit smaller. And I think I did this to the bottom of my last eye. Just a design choice. You could do your eyes however you want, just put them in the right place. And since it's 3/4 view, you should be able to see the other side of the horse's cheeks and eyebrows. Let's give the eyebrow right here. So you would go out from the head, that's the eyebrow, come back into the eye, come out from the eye, and then back over. So that's his cheekbone and that's his eyebrow bone. I'm going to get rid of that line. It's unnecessary. All right. And we can get rid of those eye lines too. You don't need those. They're just confusing. All right, let's give our unicorn some irises so he doesn't look scary. So our unicorn has big eyes, and our unicorn is looking up at the word magic where it starts. So if you just want to make a directional line, let's see, we want to go here. So we want the pupil to be in line where the unicorn is looking. Same thing with the other eye. I'm going to do light reflections, so just some circles if you're just doing a little cartoon. And then we'll, of course, we'll color the iris in when we're done. So there's our unicorn's eyes. Next we're going to do the ears. So just like we did the 3/4 for where our nose and eyes go, we're going to do a 3/4 for our ears, which is going to be the opposite direction as this one. And then this is where our ears are going to go. They're going to start here. So I start with a shape like that. This is kind of like a feather. And then the back of the ear will go back here. There we go. And then if it were to be a globe, this circle would come back around, be here, so our other ear can go about here. But we're not going to see it anyway, so it's not important. All right, so we've got a face with eyes and a nose. Next we need to do the unicorn horn. Our 3/4 view we used right here, that's the center of the face. So we know we want to put our horn in the center. About right here. Don't know necessarily the anatomy of a unicorn, but that's going to be where the horn is going to come out of. Our word magic, let's move it back a little bit. So that line, let's use that. Magic, I want the unicorn horn to point at the M, so my M is going to go here. So I'm going to go like that. So it's pointing at the M, like that. And there we go. So we have a horn there. And to do the design on the horn, it's kind of like doing a braid. You're going to do some of these twisty shapes. If I got a horn, I'm going to go like this. And then I could come back around and go like that. So we're going to do that to our unicorn horn. And they're going to get closer together as we get to the top of the horn. There we go. We could also do our unicorn hair, which we did some nice bangs on our unicorn, and then we did the mane on the back, which is going to circle over and break our frame. So first we're going to do some of the hair on the top. So we're just going to start from behind the ears, and we're going to make some squiggly lines. Squiggle lines. So remember how I told you it's going to cover the ear? The hair is going to go in front of here. And it's going to go behind this ear and come back. So there we have our first piece of hair. We also have a piece that's going to come from here and go in front of the horn. So we're going to start right about here. And we're going to make some squiggly lines. Start back here. We're going to copy those squiggly lines. Like that. And then I've got one little piece that's going to come out here and curl. Just like that, or you can have it coming out of there. And then we're going to do the back mane, which is going to come from here. And it's just going to go to the frame. You got some squiggly lines, just going to go out of the frame. And then we have some that are going to cascade down here. So we're going to start from the back. We're going to do some squiggly lines. We're going to copy those squiggly lines. And one more group of squiggly lines. We're going to connect there. So if you have experience, you could do your unicorn hair however you like. And we've got this big piece. We're not going to see the back of the neck, by the way, because this hair is going to cascade down. So we're going to go put some squiggly lines back there because that's a continuation of that one. Then we're going to come down here. One of our locks of hair is going to break the frame. So we're going to come all the way down outside the frame because our frame is right here. We're going to come outside the frame. And then I'm going to do some more squiggly lines because this is going to be a lock of hair. And then I've got to do the squiggly lines that match up with this one. So just make sure, no matter how you do your hair, that it comes over like bangs. Remember, one piece is going to cover the horn, so you won't see the horn back there. It's hair in front. You're going to do the mane cascading around the back, and we're doing it in big chunks yet. We're not going to add the details that we add in here yet. We're not going to add those till we get our pen out. So now we are done with the unicorn. So we're going to move on to our letters. Our letters are going to go in our circle or in our ring. And remember, I took this line and kind of moved it at an angle over here from our center dot. And you're going to do it again. I want my letters to be about 1.5 inches wide or 2 inches wide. So I'm going to go over 2 inches, make a straight line. Again, you could use a ruler if you want. I could go like this. Do another 2 inches. Go like this. Another 2 inches. Go like this. That one's not as far. This is why we're sketching, so we can erase. Needs to go about let's see about that far. So it's easier for me to just sketch it than to use a ruler, because then I have to pre-measure, and I really like to use my eye to measure. You have to go all the way around to where you're going to see the ring behind the horse. So that means all the way from here to underneath his chin. All right, so let's start with our letters. So the letters need to have a perspective where they're going to be wider at the top than they are at the bottom, because this is the actual space you have to fill. So our M's are gonna, the side of the M is gonna go out, this side of the M is gonna go out, and then they're gonna meet in the middle. The circular letters are gonna be a little bit harder. They almost don't have very much perspective to them. So we're gonna do that. So I want my letters to be a little distance from the top and the bottom of my frame. So I'm going to do some extra lines. You could use your compass, but like I said, I like to use my eyes. Okie dokie. So let's start with my M. I want it to come in, and I can go all the way up to these guidelines I made. The M. Find my center. That's where they're going to connect. We get our A. I can go all the way to those guidelines I made. And you want equal distance apart, so if my M is this far from that guideline, my A needs to be that far. You want this line to match up to where this comes down, so if you want to make a little guide, that's fine. G, like I said, it's a rounded letter, a little more difficult. And our I is pretty easy. We could pretty much just follow the guides. And C. All right, if you want to make your letters so that you can trace the outsides of them and color them on the inside, go ahead and thicken your letters now. And then you can erase the pencil after you're done. I don't want my letters to be outlined, I just want them to be thick. So I'm gonna go ahead and thicken them now. You can also fix any mistakes you've made with your typography now if you want to. This is going to be a long video. You may want to stop the video after we finish the outline if it's taking too long for your time, and then maybe color it later, because you may not want to use the coloring technique I'm about to use. That's perfect, but that's okay. I know there's a lot of noise going on today. I'm pretty sure I can edit it out in Premiere. By the way, you may notice in any of my videos published this week or in the future, I've figured out how to edit out some background noise. I also added an outdoor track to the background, so it'll sound like I'm outside while you watch my videos. That's pretty keen. And I also fixed the focus and the grain on there. So magic. That's done. Where it doesn't say magic, we are going to do some stars. So to do a star, you can make a stencil and then copy it if you want to. So that would just be making a perfect star. Which, how do I make a perfect star? Well, I find my center and I make a triangle that goes down about like that. Then I come same distance from here, has to go to here. So however long this needs to be that long. I make that straight line, and then I make a triangle that connects to here. So see how there's this angle shape, and then I just connect that one to the bottom. You could cut that out and then stencil it, but I'm going to just sketch it. It might take a little bit longer, but I'll show you how to do it. So I already have my guides here, so I'm going to find my center. I'm going to take that to there, that to there, find a straight line, connect it to there, and connect it to there. And I want my stars to be just as spaced out as my letters are, so you want a little in from there. So do it on the next one. There. This goes behind my horse, so I won't really see that part. And then make a straight line. Come back. Come back. All right, I got more to do. There's one here, circle that I erased. There's my guides. Okay, so down to there, down to there, straight line. Come back. One more. There's actually two more, sorry. Onto there. Like I said, you could make a stencil and then just trace it. If you're using a computer, you know what you can do. Easy peasy. You just copy and paste. So we're not going to see this whole star, but we are going to see some of it. Okay, and now where a circle meets our frame, we're just going to curve where they meet, like that. This one meets right here. This one we don't see meet the circle because we have hair that covers it up, but this one we do. Okie dokie. So, if there's anything else you want me to go over with, if you're viewing live right now, now's the chance to ask me. I'm going to do a time check to see what we have time to do. But let's see if you've caught up. Did you curve where all your frames met the circle? Did you do all your stars? Let me give you a minute to do your stars. Okay, looks like we have just enough time to do the inking. So you can go ahead and get your pencil out of the way. You could use your eraser anywhere you might want to erase, but we're going to erase everything after we outline it anyway. So go ahead and get your thick felt tip marker out. We're going to start by doing the horse, and we're going to do the horse's hair first. So let's start with the top of the head. So be very careful, your ear is right here. You don't want to draw through your ear. Your ear is on the front frame. So how about we just do the ear in the felt marker first. So start with the inside of your ear. Comes in like that. And then the back side of the ear goes like that. So there, we've done our ear, no worries. So now we could do our unicorn horn that's also in the front. So remember, your hair goes in front of your unicorn horn here. So let's do this lock of hair right here. So we'll do the first curvy line, and then the second curvy line. And we'll do this little piece right here. There we go. And now we can do the horn. So we're kind of working back to front. So go ahead and do your texture lines that you put on there. Not your sketch lines, but the textured lines you put on there. So the swirly lines. Remember, they get smaller as we get to the top. So you can just go like that with the unicorn horn. So now we could do the hair behind that. So remember, it starts back here, curves. If you want, you could do these curves all the way outside the frame. That's acceptable. So curvy lines. Don't go through your objects that are in the front. And go back. All right, remember, don't go over the head of your unicorn, stop right there. So let's do some of these back curls. So we got this swirly line right there, swirly line right there, swirly line right here, and see how these all connect? That's good. And let's do this one back here. Don't break your frame. This part goes behind the frame. So stop the frame. And this one is the same thing. Don't break the frame yet. And then we've got this big one right here. This is our one that does break the frame. And this comes out there. That's where it breaks the frame at, so don't break it anymore, only right there. And then we have this swirl back here. And there we've done our horse's hair. So now let's do our horse's body or head. Go ahead and start up here at the top and come down. That's the eyebrow bone. Try to do curved edges, nothing hard. And then come out the cheekbone. And then we've got this line here that goes out to our nose, connects out here. We got the bump on the nose. We got the mouth. And remember, we're smiling. Nobody wants to upset a unicorn. And the lip. And don't forget to turn the paper. Or make sure you have something underneath here. If I was going right here, I could do this, but this has been pretty convenient today. Don't be afraid to move the paper so you can get better angles on drawing. Now I'm not going to connect that. I'm just going to leave this empty. I'm just going to go back that far and then also do his neck. All right, so next we could do his eyes, which we're just going to do whole circle like that. And then remember there's the highlights, so don't trace over the highlights, just do the pupil to the highlight and the iris to the highlight like that. And then this highlight over here you can outline, and then you can color the eye in. Just the pupil, because I want to make colorful irises. I'm going to use turquoise. Do the same thing over here. And do his nose, nostril over here. He does have a nostril over there. Could do that. All right, so face is done. Hair just needs detail. Let's do our frame now. So these little curved pieces here, you want to trace the curves. Remember to use your whole arm to do straight lines. And turn the page so you can get better curves. Sometimes it helps to move your whole wrist. I forgot to do that curve in there. And this one. Remember down here your hair broke the frame, so you're going to stop right there. That would be a tangent. Go ahead and leave it like that. Okay, so now we have our frame done. Let's do the inside of our frame. So that's just this circle right here. Not the one that touches your letters, the one below it. And next we're going to do our letters. So how about I outline my letters so I can color it in. I could always color them in with black if I want to. So we're gonna go in the outline, the thick that I made them. Remember to have a piece of paper or cardboard underneath. You don't want to ruin your mom's table or your own table. Like I mentioned in the post about this lesson, it's a lot of time spent, which means exercises that pass time. So if you want to do the tie-dye method that I do in the original for your background, it's going to take a lot of time spent because there's a lot of blending and layering. That's just a baby excited about food. And probably not excited about something else. I'm using my fine tip pen, by the way. I'm going to outline my stars, not the lines on the inside, just the lines on the outside. If they're not perfect, that's okay. Mine are not perfect, but they're perfect to me. Do the stars in the broad felt marker if you want to. I'm just continuing with this one because I have it in my hands. Remember, this one goes behind the horse, behind the unicorn. Same with that one, so you don't see the whole line. This one, you would see just that much of it. In this one, you only see that much of it. All right, so last thing we have to do with the felt marker is to do the strands or detail or texture in our horse's hair. And so for that, we just follow the squiggly line until we get to an end and just pick up another squiggly line. So for example, I'm going to do this piece right here. So just come from where it started, follow the squiggly line all the way to the bottom. And then do that as many times as you want to. And if it touches, that's okay too. Like that. So we'll do it for this one. So just start where it starts, follow one of the wavy lines, and just end somewhere. So this one, I could probably see one of them come like that, go like that, and then end right there. And then maybe one starts right here, like that. Bring one back. This one, I'm going to give 2 of them. And then for this one, gonna go like that. Sometimes you can't see it because it goes behind the other strand of hair. This one I'm gonna start there. This one there. I'm gonna bring one straight down like that. And then this one's a long one. I'm gonna finish it right there. Gonna finish that one right there. Gonna pick it up here, come back. All right, I forgot to do his eyebrow. Eyebrows. Okay, so go ahead and take your eraser and erase all the pencil lines. Do your best. Hopefully you weren't writing as dark as I am, because I go that dark so that you could see it on the camera. Don't rip your paper. Be gentle. Be gentle. Pencil lines are dark this time. Okay, so unfortunately that looks like the time we have for today. You got a really nice coloring page right now that you can color any way you'd like to, or you can watch on Friday to watch me color this piece, and we will do some shading and some texture detail on the hair with color pencil. We also are going to do a tie-dye technique with our background so it looks like space. I'm going to find a whiteout pen so we could put some stars in here. But because of the length that it actually takes to complete this, we are going to need to split it into 2 days. I just want to mention to you guys, as artists, we don't always do the first thing perfect. This was my, this is the one I just finished, so it's not exactly the same. I kind of turned this guy a little more than this guy. I have multiple versions that I did in order to get here. So there's one that I was gonna do with the magic really big. There's one I'm going to do magic smaller. I even made a copy of this before I colored it and tried coloring it another way. See, I did some stippling and some pointillism, but I did a background with a striped hair color instead. So just be patient with yourself and give yourself a chance and time to experiment. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you're going to join the next video, or if you're going to watch it on YouTube, it might take a couple more days for it to be uploaded. Thank you for sketching with me and drawing with me today, and we will continue this lesson on Friday. Thank you. Bye.